right, so I'm going to ask Daniel some questions, and the idea is to try to get everybody in the United States, the people who are supporting him, to just be more aware of and connected to the ministry that he's doing and seeking to do in the future. So, Daniel, you're in Japan. What are you doing here? Why are you here?
I'm part of a team with Surge that is based out of Nagoya in Aichi Prefecture in Japan. I live in Okazaki, which is about 40 minutes on the train from Nagoya. And I am studying at a language school full-time. Hopefully next year around summertime I'll finish at the language school, and at that point dive in full-time, figuring out how to facilitate Japanese church leaders to plant churches and to be healthy and vibrant in the gospel in their own lives. And so our team is small right now. There's a team leader, Jeremy and Gina Sink, who have been in Japan for about 10 years. And then my teammate, Jessica Gann, who finished language school last year and now has returned after raising full support to, she's beginning to figure out what it's going to look like for her to work toward facilitating this church planning and renewal for Japanese pastors and church leaders.
Yeah. So right now it's been language school. You told me like probably 8 hours a day or so between class and then study. What's that been like? Pretty easy to learn Japanese?
Yeah. It's not my gifting, but there's things that I enjoy about it, and there's things that can make me angry. So I studied a little bit before I came to Japan on my own, but just knew a very, very little bit. And so, yeah, it's tricky. My teachers are really, really good. So I'm really thankful for them. They're very patient and wise. But yeah, it's a very different way to think, and so.
Yeah, I've noticed since being here, I guess one, the school seems really respected around here. And then also how hard it is. Like I've learned like 10 phrases and I'm terrible at them all. But even talking to you, like the idea that this is a language combined with phonetic letters and sounds with kanji symbols, similar to Chinese, and so a word or sentence will have both of those involved, and you have to be able to distinguish them all. And and there's like almost countless different kanji symbols, and so it's a challenging thing to be able to speak, and everything changes with the tone and emphasis and pronunciation. So, but I've also seen just you being able to interact with Japanese people.
Yeah, so that's an encouragement that I have learned some. I can speak some with people. I still, I feel like I should be better than I am after what I've studied, but thankful that I can communicate certain things. Even the class last night, the gospel choir class I went to, until just maybe a couple months ago, I wouldn't have been able to explain some of the words of the songs, but now I can kind of give some explanation into Japanese, even if it's broken Japanese, not perfect. But, so yeah, thank you, Lord, for that bit of learning. So
yeah, and then I was thinking about the team. You mentioned some of their goals. So why have you guys ended up taking that tack? Because sometimes missionaries will come in and be the church planter. You guys are trying to kind of step back from that. What's the thought there?
I think we are totally for people coming and starting churches. we're not against that at all. There's a place for that. And there's places in Japan where the church is just so small. So some of the big cities have a lot of churches, but there's millions of people in those cities, So the more churches, the better, I think, in some ways. But I think part of our approach is that the Protestant church has been here since the 1850s. And so there is an established church in Japan throughout the country. There are small cities where there aren't churches, but there's established denominations and traditions. And so we want to enter in and be unified with the brothers and sisters that are here, and just support the work that we think the Lord is calling them to. So I think the Lord does call missionaries to start new things, but I think He also can call us to motivate national leaders and just be friends with them as they do something that's very difficult, like starting a new church, pastoring a church that's small. And yeah, we just want to promote the special unity and bond that we have as brothers and sisters across the nations. Coming in from another country, we have this bond. I think one way to do that is by prayerfully supporting and trying to come underneath the work that's being done, but also just like on a friendship level and praying together. One of the main things our team does right now is to pray for these few people that we know and are connected with. It's a new team. 2-3 years, in the forming, and so we have a lot of brainstorming to do and trying things out. Even as I've been here for just a year and a half, we've kind of done some different things that we hadn't really envisioned before I came, and there was some fruit from some events that we hosted, but we just want to equip can sometimes make it sound like we have everything and they need what we have, and I think it's a little bit different than that. We both have gifts, and some have more experience than others, but bringing it together somehow for the purpose of spreading the good news and starting healthy churches.
I suppose it's kind of being the body, but being another part of the body and really trying to support the body here. You bring a lot of gifting yourself with regards to, I think, just music, discernment, encouragement, these things, and some of the training you've gotten. You can help. But I love the posture of coming alongside, being a support. And I think what you're finding is that it's going to take a lot of creativity. A lot of it's going to be relationship-based, trust-based, to find those church planters and pastors to work with, and then figure out how do they need help. Not just how you want to help them, but how do they need help, and how does that fit with your gifting, so that the church can thrive through you guys being here. So I know there's a lot of uncertainty with what exactly that looks like, so that would be a prayer request for sure, especially in the next year or so as Daniel finishes language school. But it's also exciting to see what God will do and see the beginnings of what God's doing, and then and hopefully build an anticipation for what He will do in the coming months and years using this team and the ministry focus that they've developed together. So I'm encouraged by that and looking forward to hearing what God does.